What's up, fam? Hey, thank y'all for tuning in once again. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Well, it looks like Black Lives Matter, the organization, cannot stay out of the news cycle. And as you can probably tell, it's not for anything good. It's just more controversy out of more controversy, tacked on to more controversy. Now, you know, we did a story not too long ago about, we touched on the story not too long ago about a house that they had bought at the organization with Miss Patrice Cullors and her husband, wife, or whatever you call them. Bought a house in, I guess, Canada, big mansion in Canada, and said it's for like, so that the BLM members in, you know, organization and stuff can, you know, express their artistic talent. They need like a big mansion to do that. And, you know, hell, even before then, you know, Patrice Cullors in the news because they found out she had bought like a bunch of properties, like one in Miami, and I don't know where the rest of them was at, but she tried to say that she, you know, paying for these houses with book deals and production deals with Netflix and all this kind of stuff, and just thought you would believe it. And then, you know, she abruptly resigned. And then, like a couple of days ago, and I haven't touched on that, but I will touch on this in this stream. Say a couple of people that used to work for the Clinton, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, they were part of the Black Lives Matter organization. They're part of the board, and then all of a sudden, I believe in February, they just like dropped out. Like it was like no big fanfare when they went in. There was no big fanfare when they dropped out. They just like disappeared off the face of the earth with no comment. Now this story comes out today, well, by the time you hear this, yesterday, and this is from the Daily Mail. And you know how detailed the Daily Mail is. It says, reveal, BLM founder Patrice Cullors paid her baby father $970,000 for, quote, creative services. Her brother $840,000 for security. A fellow director $1.2 million. And reimbursed the organization $73,000 for a charter flight. Let's take a deep dive into this, like seriously, man, because this is crazy. So it says Black Lives Matter spent millions on consulting services. You know what? I'm not gonna read the notes. We're gonna go straight to the article. Like for real. It said newly released tax filings reveal how Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors used charity funds to pay her friends and family large sums for various, quote, consulting services, as well as charter a private flight. Remember, you know, the big issue came when a lot of these family members of these brothers that were killed by the police, you know, Black Lives Matter raised like over $90 million, and they're trying to figure out where the money is, where it's going, and, you know, nobody supposedly knew where all the money was at. So now that, like I said, you keep putting pressure on people, eventually, you know, the truth will come out. So this says the documents reveal that BLM paid a company owned by Damon Turner, the father of Cullors' child, nearly $970,000 to help produce live events and provide other creative services. Now I wonder, you know, and it's, you know, you don't want to question nobody's, you know, saying orientation or what they prefer, but usually from what I heard, tell me if I'm wrong, usually when women are heterosexual and then they become, you know, they start liking the same thing that men like, usually it's because the guy that they were with, you know, did them bad, you know, or they used to being abused, something like that, and then eventually, you know, they end up like, you know, dating another woman or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but let's stay with the story. I'm just kind of, you know, this relationship between her and her baby daddy, and she's also married to a woman, you know, that's got to cause some kind of friction somewhere. So we'll see how that story develops soon. The co-founder's brother, Paul Cullors, received more than $840,000 for providing security services to the foundation. Leaders have attempted to justify the expense by saying the foundation's protection could not be entrusted to former police professionals who typically run security firms, because the BLM movement is known for vehemently protesting law enforcement organizations. Now I gotta see that. I can kind of see that because a lot, remember when I think Beyonce was doing the Super Bowl halftime show, and a lot of police said they wouldn't provide security because she was back in Black Lives Matter or what have you. So yeah, I can see that. Consulting firm run by Colomia Bowers, who is BLM's board secretary and has previously served as deputy executive director, was paid more than $2.1 million for providing the organization with operational support, including staff, fundraising, and other key services. Resigned from BLM last year amid a wave of scrutiny surrounding the charity's finances. She has repeatedly denied claims that she took money from BLM for personal matters and has reiterated that all the purchases and transactions, including a lavish $6 million home in Los Angeles, dubbed Studio City, were legitimate. New Islands also revealed that Cullors reimbursed BLM $73,523 for a charter flight for foundation-related travel, which the organization says she took in 2021 out of concern for COVID-19 and security threats. She paid the foundation an additional $390 over her use of the 6,500 square foot studio property for 2 private events. Tell me where you can rent any building for just $390, a 6,500 square foot building for $309 for 2 private events, 2 private parties. $390 would be like per hour and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Boy, the latest financial disclosures come after Cullors had already come under fire for receiving a $120,000 payment consulting fee. Black Lives Matter. Look at her, man. I don't know how much of this article I'm gonna get into. I'm trying to hit like some key points, but this is why I myself personally, you do what you want to, but I myself personally do not give to charitable organizations, especially big ones like this. I mean, I can't say Black Lives Matter because I already knew it was a sham from the beginning, because we know how it's more of like a LGBTQ front, and that's what their base is on. That's where they get all that support from. Ain't no men supporting this. They haven't. Ain't no family supporting this. This is it's just a front, and they took all these people money. They ain't no better than a lot of these preachers out here. These prosperity preachers out here. They took all these people money, or people freely gave all this money to this organization for what? That really shows me that a lot of people just don't read the Bible or don't follow it, because one, it tells you that if you want to fix anything, it always starts at home. But people say charity starts at home. You take care of your own house first. Now, I'm not saying you don't donate to people, because people do have issues. I mean, you have people that need GoFundMe pages. For medical expenses, funerals, outrageous stuff that a lot of people, can't afford to take care of. They hard working, they good people, and something happens, and because of the high cost of, medical cost of medical fees and bills, they need help. So I can understand that. But to give to someone like the BLM, American Red Cross, because I had read an article about that, and I may just get into that too. It was saying how American Red Cross try to say that 90 cents of every dollar that goes, of every dollar, every what do you call it? Not surplus, but every dollar that goes into the fund for it goes towards the actual the actual like movement or participation or whatever they're doing to fix stuff or to help people out. They say like 90 cents of every dollar goes to actually doing the work in the community. But when you read the actual article and you actually do the financial, it tells you that actually it's more of, out of all the money that goes to American Red Cross, only up to 17% of that money goes to actual working in the community. And then out of that 17%, 90 cents of every dollar goes to it. So if you give, let's say, roundabout estimate, let's say like American Red Cross, if they would have made $1 million or got people donate $1 million to the American Red Cross to go towards, helping Haiti, helping build houses, flood, going and helping, communities ravaged by floods or something, tornadoes, and $1 million raised. Well, the $1 million do not go directly to the community. Only, let's say 17%, only 170,000 will go to that community. And out of that 170,000, maybe 150,000 will go to that community. So like I said, if it's like a whole, let's say like if it was New Orleans and like only $1 million was raised, only $170,000 actually going to go into New Orleans to help repair or help give food, shelter, clothing, stuff like that, which for a whole entire city ain't nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it'd be better for you, like 170,000, it'd be better for you to go to a grocery store or go to a Walmart or whatever, buy water, buy food, buy diapers, buy whatever you can yourself. Take that same money, buy it yourself and ship it, or take it down, or give it to the churches so they can take it down there instead of just donating money. Because because all the money doesn't go directly to the people that need. That's why a lot of times you get to the American Red Cross and nothing gets done. But they got all these administration fees and these lawyer fees, and then you got to pay your people, staff, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just a bunch of bullcorn. It really is. It's a lot of red tape before money can actually, like say, pennies on a dollar by the time it gets to the people who need it. But this organization here, this Black Lives Matter, shit, them people ain't trying to give you nothing, man. They kept all this. But let's keep going. The former BLM leader did admit previously that her sister, mother, and brother were employed with the organization. The revelations came courtesy of a 63-page Form 990, the annual filing required for organizations to maintain tax-exempt status as a nonprofit. Shout out to Umar Johnson, because we know he lost a lot of his little privileges, tax-exempt statuses, because he never turned his forms in. So, he raised all his money for all these years, and people say, he bought a school, but it's like nothing has been done with it. And, it is what it is, whatever he's doing, whoever gave money to him, I supported him back in the day. Went to one of his little old lectures and stuff, I didn't buy a book, but, bought shirts and stuff like that. So, I won't lie, I support it, but hey, after a while, you got to see results. If you don't see no results, then, I really ain't trying to, rock with you until I see something else. Let's say in its latest 9/9, the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, Inc. revealed that it ended the last fiscal year from July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021 with nearly $42 million net assets. The foundation had an operation budget of about $4 million, according to a board member. So it's like $38 million missing. It said nearly $6 million was spent on the Studio City property, which includes a home with 6 bedrooms and bathrooms, a swimming pool, a soundstage, an office space. It was intended as a campus for a Black Arts Fellowship and is currently used for that purpose. The board member said, "Now you had to have no $6 million house for that, man. You could have bought land and built one of these metal-looking warehouse buildings with all the amenities that you needed for this and it wouldn't even cost, not even close to that much. The foundation invested $32 million in stocks from the $90 million it received as donations amid racial justice protests in 2020. The investment is expected to become an endowment to ensure the foundation's work continues in the future, organizers say. Now I could kind of see where that's coming from too, because I've thought about that. Like if I had a nonprofit, you put in the stocks, because it's just like 401k. That's what they do. They put in the stocks, and you just leave it up for years, and it'll grow and grow and grow, and you can just pull from it, and do the work in the community that you need to do. But again, there's no money that we know of that has went directly to the community the inception or since all this money was raised. And that's what your problem is. But still, after spending more than $37 million on grants, real estate, consultants, and other expenses, the BLM movement is still worth tens of millions of dollars. Also raising eyebrows was the fact that during the last fiscal year, Cullors was the foundation board's sole voting director and held no board meetings, according to the filing. Although it is permissible under Delaware law where the foundation is incorporated, the governance structure gives the appearance that Cullors alone decided who to hire and how to spend the donations. However, current board members allege that was never the truth. Really? The documents say one thing, but tell me I can't believe my lying eyes. This 990 reveals that the BLM Foundation is the largest black abolitionist nonprofit organization that has ever existed in the nation's history. What we're doing has never been done before, said Shalomiyah Bowers, who serves the foundation's board secretary. Didn't you hear that name earlier? We need to get the dollars out to grassroots organizations doing the work of abolition, doing the work that will shift the moral tide of this world towards one that does not have or believe in police, prisons, jails, or violence, he said. Bowers, whose firm received the lion's share of the money spent on consultants in the last fiscal year, hit back at the allegation that the foundation had a conflict of interest and said the last BLM board approved the contract with his firm when he was not a board member. Our firm stepped in when BLM had no structure and no staff, he said. We filled the gap when nothing else existed. But let me be crystal clear, there was no conflict of interest. Here's the problem that a lot of people don't understand. It's all about aesthetics. It's how you look to people that you have to really be concerned about. It's one thing to be a private organization. If you raise your own money with private, through private charities, fundraisers and stuff like that, and through your own hands, that's one thing. You raise your own money, you can do what you want to. Who cares what you look like? But when the public is giving you money and you're out here marching and protesting about the importance of black lives when the police kill, mind you, you're nowhere in the neighborhood when your young brothers are out here doing it to themselves. You're not out here using money to create, schools or create jobs, creating curriculums or trades, teaching AI or STEM curriculum or classes. You're not doing any of that with the money that you have received. You're not taking it to like the neighborhoods that the Michael Browns have been killed in, the Trayvon Martin. You're not going to those neighborhoods and reaching out to the people and to the family and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do for this community to make it, a safer place. Forget the police, not going in there trying to, create your own police force. You're not doing any of these things with the money. It's like, I don't even think they know what they want to do with the money except create art centers and studios to do a freaking podcast. Like I say, hell, I do my podcast in my closet. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, so in my truck, or, you know what I'm saying, or in my office, wherever. You see what I'm saying? So, or in my garage. It just depends on what the weather's like and how I feel. You know what I'm saying? And what kind of, how much privacy I get. Didn't need no $6 million house to have a studio for a podcast. It's definitely wasn't to throw no parties for no inauguration. It said controversy surrounding the organization's finances has elicited probes by at least 2 state attorney generals. Board members said they are cooperating with civil investigations in Indiana and Ohio, and they have turned over relevant documents to these authorities. The foundation will launch a transparency and accountability center on its website to make its financial documents available for public inspection, Biden says. Let me tell you about financial documents. People say men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Shout out to Jay-Z, but numbers may not lie, but the people who put them in do. Let me give you a prime example. Just had a meeting with people in my neighborhood, families in the neighborhood. We got a HOA and a management company, and we're talking about getting rid of the at least the management company first, because we're paying money, we don't have any amenities. The only thing we get is letter saying that, you know, you need to cut your grass, but you hand that letter out after it rained for 2 weeks straight and can't nobody mow their yard. And so, you know, we're all fertilized, you know, it rained for 2 weeks straight, so then, like, you know, grass shoot up, weeds shoot up and die, you know, and they want to put a letter on your door talking about this is in violation, when actually it's not even in the bylaws about anything about weeds. So, you know, you put your trash can out on the side for more than 10 minutes or whatever. They want to dock you, but like I said, there's no park, no place for the kids to play, no pool, no gazebo, no nothing. So, you know, but we're paying all this money, and everybody wants to know where the money is going to. So, you know, they you know, they send out financials and say, hey, this is detailed breakdown of what you pay for. And then, you know, one of the big payments is, you know, how administration fees, you know, lawyer fees. And it's like, okay, you could put lawyer fees, but can you break down what you're paying, what the lawyers are doing? Or, you know, how much it's costing for the lawyers, like each itemized detail that's not in there. You see, so it's like, and everybody knows lawyers are expensive. And, you know, lawyers can say, hey, I'm charging $5,000 a retainer, and then, you know, $100, $300 an hour, no matter what. Every time you call me, it's gonna be $300 top. Or, you know, so it's not like a financial statement or documents will detail like every penny. Like they'll say, well, we're paying $300 for mailing, like letters and stamps. And we're like, what? They said it's only what, 30 something houses in this neighborhood. You ain't mailing letters to everybody, and you ain't mailing certified letters, and stamps are like, I don't know how much they are now, but you can get forever stamps for pennies on a dollar. I get a whole book of forever stamps, and I done had my stamps for years, you know, for at least 4 or 5 years. And I got 2 books of them. You ain't doing that much mailing, especially when a lot of stuff you send it through email. But like I said, you can put a number down, but it may not make sense. So like I said, you really can't go off of what documents say all the time. So like I said, you can give a side out to that. A lot of stuff could be questionable, as they say. They say Bowers was named as one of the 3 members of BLM's board of directors earlier this month. Well, that's probably because of all the scrutiny and the stuff they're going through, that now they gotta try to make it look legit, you know. They say he served with the board chair Cicely Gay, a communications professional with more than 20 years of experience in nonprofit and philanthropic organizations, and Zane Parker, a member of the BLM's Los Angeles chapter, who work focuses on the impact of mass incarceration on families. You know what I'm saying? Like money like this money can go to like people learning about the law, like sending kids to law school. going to law school, becoming a lawyer so you can help, putting people in city council so you can help in these issues, because you can raise all the money you want, you can do all the studies you want. Shout out to the reparations study that probably ain't gonna go nowhere. You can do all the studying you want, looking into nothing, but if you ain't on the inside, if you ain't making changes, you ain't using that money to, but they are, Democratic Party, but if you ain't using that money for actual change, I mean, it's like you're doing it for nothing. It said we are decolonizing philanthropy, Gates said. We as a board are charged with disrupting traditional standards and what grant making in philanthropy looks like. It means investing in black communities, trusting them with their dollars. How? Like I said, my question is how. I need to know, give me like examples. Here we go. BLM's disclosure filing revealed that nearly 26 million or 70% of its expenses were grants to organizations and families in the last fiscal year. 12 BLM chapters, including those in Boulder, Colorado, Boston, Washington, D.C., Detroit, Los Angeles, Gary, Indiana, and Philadelphia, received pledges for grants of up to $500,000. Like, seriously? Pledges for grants for entire city, $500,000? It's not, you can get a house for $500,000. What you gonna do with $500,000 in this day and age? Yeah, I know, it's something, better than nothing, but it's, The family foundation is created in honor of Floyd and others killed by police and vigilantes, Trayvon Martin and Oscar Grant each received contributions of $200,000, but to raise $90 million. The Michael O.D. Brown We Love Our Sons and Daughters Foundation, run by Michael Brown Jr.'s mother, Leslie McSpadden, was approved for a large multi-year grant of $1.4 million. A representative of the Brown Foundation revealed an initial $500,000 had been received in 2021. Now you see, how long ago has it been since Michael Brown was killed? It was years. It's been years, right? I'm gonna guess and say at least 5. I don't know. But your first initial donation came in 2021. Like I said, in the midst of all this scrutiny. Now you want to give some money out. That's what, like I say, man, y'all don't know how to do this. Among its larger grants are $2.3 million in the Living Through Giving Foundation, a nonprofit charity platform that encourages giving at the local levels. There we go. And $1.5 million to Team Blackbird, a rapid response communications and movement strategy project that increases the visibility of movement organizations. I see a little money, but when it compared to what you have gotten and what you have quote unquote wasted, man, this ain't gonna work. The tax filings does not reveal the foundation's largest donors. Transparency and accountability is so important to us, but so is trust, said Gay, the BLM Foundation chair. Presenting donor names after the fact at this point would likely be a betrayal of that trust. Y'all can understand. I mean, yeah, you don't want to tell everybody who a lot of times people want to be private donors. They don't want their name out there. And I get that. I don't knock that at all. But again, to me, it ain't about the donors. To me, it's about what you're doing with the money. Right? So let's see. I'm trying to get to where is the money for the. Let's see. Oh, let's see. I don't know how to say his name. Yane Digo, an activist and former organizer with the BLM chapter in Philadelphia, said Cullors reneged on the promise to hand over control of the foundation's resources to grassroots organizers. When resources came in, when opportunities came in, the foundation alone would be the ones to decide who was going to take advantage of them, without having to take any consideration of the other organizers whose work was giving them the access to these resources and opportunities in the first place, she said, or they said, who organized a group of chapters that confronted the foundation over issues of transparency and accountability. Exactly. In a recent interview, Cullors acknowledged the foundation was ill prepared to handle that moment. Oh, y'all was ill prepared to handle that money. Once that money started coming in, you know what to do. You thought it was going to last forever. Wasn't nobody going to check you, but they are. Say the foundation also paid nearly $140,000 in severance to a former managing director who had been at odds with local BLM chapter organizers prior to Cullors' tenure as director. Well, that was prior to her tenure. But yeah, it's like I said, this is I don't know exactly what they thought, how they thought they was going to get away with this. I mean, you're talking millions of dollars. I mean, I know, like I say, shout out to Umar Johnson. He said that he got maybe like $1 million or so, probably way more than that, and they scrutinizing him. But you're talking $100 million, and nobody's accountable. You know, like Story did before, where they were saying how nobody knew, and this is earlier this year, nobody knew who was in control of the money. When they asked asked different members of the organization, nobody knew who was in control of the money. So that right there was probably the first red flag. It said the BLM movement first emerged in 2013 after the acquittal of George Zimmerman, neighborhood watch volunteer who killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in Florida. But it was 2014. It was 8 years ago. My gosh, death of Michael Brown at the hands of police in Ferguson, Missouri, that made the slogan Black Lives Matter a rally cry for progressives and a favorite target of derision for conservatives. BLM co-founders Patrice Cullors, Alicia Garza, and A. Tometi had pledged to build a decentralized organization, LGBTQ, governed by the consensus of BLM chapters. But just 3 years into existence, Cullors was the only movement founder involved in the organization. Maybe everybody knew something wasn't right about it. And in 2020, a tidal wave of contributions in the aftermath of the protests over George Floyd murder in Minneapolis. Murder by Minneapolis police meant the BLM organization needed much more infrastructure, and she did not get it. She used her family to get it. When Cullors revealed the windfall donations last year, local chapter organizers and families of police brutality victims reacted angrily. Until then, the foundation had not been transparent with the most devoted BLM organizers, many of whom accused Cullors of shutting them out of decisions about how financial resources will be allocated. See, like I said, you got all this money, and you know how they say, man, we don't know how to act when we get a lot of money. And $90 million, a lot of money. They probably didn't even know they had $90 million. They probably saw this money coming in and just buying silly stuff, and they actually thought that it was legit reasons for why they bought everything. But you know what? I'm not gonna get into this other article about the Clinton cronies and how they left. I think this is enough. Like I said, we've already done enough stories about these people. My thing is, hey, when you have, I'm gonna say it like this. Contrary to popular belief, man, men are supposed to be the foundation of the community. If you look at any other community, any other nationality, ethnicity, or what have you, when they are thriving financially, business-wise, economically, community-wise, or what have you, men are involved. Have to be. I mean, again, we're talking biblical. And I'm not saying anything against no women or like that, because yes, they could be a part of everything, because everybody has a role, but you got to have an equal balance is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? You got to have something of everything, because if you leaving, you can't, I'll say like this, a woman cannot represent me in what I got to say or how I feel, because they don't know. Unless I tell them how to maneuver and how to operate on my behalf, you can't represent me. You can't do it. It's not gonna happen, because you're gonna go by how you feel and your emotions, and the way you feel and your emotions may not, go and say, go with what I feel, and then that'll become a problem. But this here, organization was not transparent and was not truthful from the beginning. They talk about Black Lives Matter, but how can Black Lives Matter when you are promoting the LGBTQ initiative? Because if that's the way you live, you can't make babies like that. You know what? You're dependent on heterosexual people to make babies so that you can adopt. That's kind of like an oxymoron or something. That don't make sense. That don't make sense at all. But like I said, I'm not gonna go too much further on this article here, man. You can tell me what you think. Leave a comment below and share it with the world. I sure hate it for all the people that made donations. The ones who thought they knew what this was about, not the ones who knew what this was about. Because a lot of them donations, people just give money, for tax write-offs and knowing exactly that they got an agenda and they financing the agenda. This is what people do. That's why when it's time to vote, researching these candidates, this right here let you know, it takes money. It takes money to make change in the world, good or bad. It was sad that people raised $90 million for an organization that pretty much means nothing to the black community. And I mean nothing. Nothing positive. Nothing to help promote families, man and woman, and children. Nothing that helps promote education. Because like I said, you got $90 million. You can, like I said, you can build schools. Hell, if you can buy a freaking $6 million house for a freaking student to do a podcast and to have a party, sure, you can use $6 million to build a school and teach people trades, at the same amount of time and the same amount of effort. So like I say, so how do you pick and choose what you're gonna spend the money on? But hey, it is what it is. Hopefully a lot of people learn, and I think what I'm afraid of is that even with all this, you're still gonna have people that's gonna support this Black Lives Matter movement. Heck, just the other day when they had the 10 people that was killed by that white extremist, the 18-year-old went in that grocery store and killed all those people. You had people come out there the next day talking about Black Lives Matter, and I'm like, really? I mean, but you really want to say? I mean, you can't think of another slogan, because right now Black Lives Matter, just them words, man, not looking too good. It's not nothing really too positive coming out of that. And as for the people that were, saying killed by that white extremist, I think said maybe like one of them might have been white or what have you. I saw the one lady. I don't know if she was white or I don't know if she was mixed. She could have been confused as being mixed, because like looking at the picture, she looking like she could be mixed, half and half or what have you. So I don't know again, but hey, go watch that video I did. But anyway, like I said, hey man, yeah, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, like the video, leave your comment, and then share it with the world. With that being said, I'll leave you with peace, and I will see you on the other side.